This version of the deck is probably the weakest and the most jank to work. Yeah, I challenge anybody to make a functional BRANDT Dragontree deck. Bet you can't.
This one is for you, Philip. Grab your notebook. Welcome to another deck profile of a very special deck I am taking to BSF Italy. So the moment you see this video, I already played this deck in the BSF Italy, and somewhere here you're gonna see how far I get with this deck. This is probably the only playable version of Dragontree in the BRANDT nation. Let's jump straight into the video. First you're gonna need 5 stupid markers, which for some reason cost money. You actually only need 4, but in very rare cases I needed a 5th one. And of course, since you can only play this right line, the grade 0 to 1, 2, 3, and the special OT in the right deck. Real quick for all the non-believers in this deck, the grade 0 has the ability at the start of your main phase, you can put a calamity card from the right deck into the soul, so you are gonna start with the grade 1. And then you're gonna get plus 2k power continuously. Only thing is, with this right line, since this is a grade 0, you cannot play any cards. Like for real, not a single card. You can put Tricksters in the main deck and then you could play a card. But otherwise you can't play anything until you ride on your Grifolia. Or is it? Grifogila. And then when you have all 3 calamity cards in your soul, and this not, then you can, after you did that in the main phase, put 3 back into the right deck and ride a Grifogila from the main deck or hand. So that's how you get to grade 10, and then when Grifogila got placed, you can take 2 Dragontree markers and put them on any rearguard circle. How I made my deck now is more like is not to have the goal to get to the OT. It is more like the OT is an insurance for you to win, but you have to stall. You're a kind of a fatigue deck. You want your opponent to either go deck out or to not have any more resources. Otherwise you will just lose, because this deck is for real bad. If my opponent knows what I'm playing and what my plan is, I'm screwed. I played this against Jet, against Youth, against Ava. Ava is the not the most horrible matchup, but a really bad matchup. But if you see Welstra with this deck, just FF, just quit. Don't show anything, because Welstra just kills you in every way. Welstra is the absolute counter to this deck. It's incredible. Alright, then let's dig into my special deck. Of course, we play 4 Persona Rides, Grifogilas. Since it's a main unit, you want to Persona Ride if possible every turn. If not, yeah, meh, but every Persona Ride is just great. It gives you soul and you need soul. And we play, what's this name? Lloyd? I'm gonna call him Lloyd. 3 Lloyds on place, counterblast 1 to create a Dragontree marker. And if you play in order, you can counterblast, check top 5 and place a unit in the same column as Lloyd. But that's a kind of rare skill, because this deck is really short on resources. You don't have the CB to spend extra, except when you really need a rearguard to push. Then, as I already said, we're playing Prison. But you're thinking, how do I even get the prison order? Easy, mulligan for 4, mulligan for one of these 4, and you're good. So that's the copium of this deck. You need the prison hard draw. That's why you play 4. But be assured, since you don't discard and you just swing and attack, it's like a 25% chance that you don't get a prison on your first grade 10 turn. But if you don't get on your first grade 10 turn the prison order, most likely you get it on your second, on your next Persona Ride turn then. And from there on you can pop off. Sometimes it's nice to have another prison, just because you maybe need the soul, but in this build right now I didn't run out of soul like in other builds. And I tried like every prison card which is playable. And as you can see, every prison card we run three right line Seraph Snows. Because this card is just says on Rearguard Circle counter +1 imprison 2 cards like on the Vanguard Circle. So that's your main card which imprisons cards and can also imprison back row rearguards and just be annoying. Then we play 4 Aggra Rouge. Aggra Rouge can for Soul Blast get a front row rearguard, sadly only a front row rearguard, so be cautious how you play out your Seraph Snows. And the 15k shield can matter. It's really depending against which deck you are playing. Sometimes in the later turns on your grade 10, they can't empty all of the prison cards with what you do with Seraph Snow and stuff like that. So this is then a 15k shield, and it also pressures the opponent to get rid of their prison. So this doesn't stay a 15k shield. And the heart and soul of this deck are 4 Chevalstud. Chevalstud is your draw engine. You want to CB 1, Soul Blast 1 to draw, and best case is you have like one of these. You use then 2 CB and 1 Soul Blast to imprison 3 cards and get a draw, which is kinda nice. So that's the main combo I go with this deck. Only play 3 Seraph Snows since it doesn't have a shield value, and shield value is really important in this deck. And then we go to the more defensive options in this deck, and these are Riot People. Since this card says if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it's 20k shield. So that's actually just a nice 20k shield. And I play 2 of the Violet, since it's just a PG for Soul Blast, when you have at least 1 card in prison. So this 1 card in prison is like the biggest issue with this card, but in different cases it's a PG for a Soul Blast, which is very good against Chrono Jet when they don't keep Violet in mind, because this card runs cards nobody has seen for a year. So that's how I hope to win some games in Italy. And the reason why I don't run 4 off, because the opponent can catch up to that and then just empty the prison first before they do anything else. Then of course 4 PGs, most important card when you are kind of a fatigue deck and want to get the opponent deck out or something. Then the trigger lineup, and I tested a lot with it, and this is what I came up with, is like 4 draw triggers, cause you really need the pieces in your hand. Then we play 7 crits, 3 effects for vanilla crits, since this is a 5k and you rarely want to waste, you actually never want to waste 15k shield for 1 soul, since you need all the shield you can get in your hand. And of course 4 heal triggers. I tried it with fronts, I tried it with rainbow, but you just need the cards in your hand to do stuff, to get the pluses with Chevalstud. So with Chevalstud you want to draw into your Violet and your Riot Beebles. Then I'm gonna quickly talk about the card choices, which were the most potent in all the testings and stuff I did. As I already said, you can switch out 2 Violets for 2 Riot Beebles and vice versa. Depends on what you prefer more. For BSF I would split, but in my opinion it's depending on the meta, what the opponent is playing. And yeah, if you really want to try hard with this deck, I don't know. I'm doing it because it's fun, but please don't try hard with this deck like I do. Then, which is also a honorable mention, is Taser Lage. Since when they call Ava skill calls something or the order, you can rest it. So that this is actually pretty strong. Is a nice contender, but in my builds I would have needed to change it between like a Violet or something like that, cause I really need those cards like Chevalstud, Aggra Rouge and the Seraph Snow, cause these are my cards which imprison cards, and to get my Chevalstud live, so I can draw cards. This card does nothing actually, it just stalls the opponent, so that's why you could technically put these away, but these are just more consistent because there are some decks which doesn't care about Taser Lage, like Youthberg and of course Makarites. Makarites are in theory really nice if you want to deck out your opponent, and I played for long with Makarites instead of Sarah Snows, which was actually nice, but I got soul issues then, because I didn't have enough soul to resolve Chevalstud, Aggra Rouge and a Makarite, because when I use all 3 in one turn to get my 3 prison cards, I have lost all my soul, because you only have, when you play the prison order, 4 soul in total. After that you maybe can Personorite, then you only have 2 soul, 1 for Chevalstud, and then you don't have anything else. So that's why I put in Sarah Snow, because the soul issue is bigger than the counterblast issue in this deck. But this card is actually really good because your opponent decks out even further, even faster, which is a nice thing against Chronojet, but in my testing not good against anything else. Alright, what I haven't done in a while now is like a theory round, a practice round to show you how I play this deck and what I'm mulligan for, so I'm gonna do it, since I think that's the most valuable thing right now I can do with this deck, because it's like kinda weird to play. It's not your usual play, because every small mistake can kick you out of the game. And also, what's really nice about this deck is all the matches against the meta decks. I lost most of them, but like 90% of those matches were this close. And if I would have survived one more turn, then I would have actually won. So that's actually crazy about this whole deck, cause it's not that bad. Like, it is bad, but it can survive. Like, it's, I would say, tier 2, tier 2.5, something around that, because the game plan is always the same. But let's start with the practice match. Let's see what we can draw with the off the top of the 5 cards. So there is no prison order, so what we do is either 4 or 5 back, depending on how you feel. I usually don't care about RPG, because when I have the prison order, everything goes smoothly. Oh, my voice cracked, Jesus. So we take 5 new ones, no prison order, and 1 heal out of the deck, which is really bad, because in this deck, you want to play around your heals. You need every single heal you can get, because every heal is 1 more damage they need to make you to win. So every heal in the deck is valuable. So let's say we started, because when you're starting with this deck, that's more favorable. And at the start of the turn, drawing a card, put the soul. It is now an 8k base, and after that you just pass. Now when they attack, you want to guard, because you don't need any damage until you're on your grade 10. Then on your turn you draw, put the soul and swing. You drive check, it's a prison order, so we're fine. And after that, since we don't have any shield in our hand, but it doesn't matter, we need a CB for the next turn. So when we started, they're gonna swing for 1 damage probably. So we're gonna take the 1 damage. It's a draw trigger, which is actually nice. So we are allowed to draw another prison, which is kinda bad. But then for our turn, we draw first, put the soul, and then put all the all of them out. Search for the grade 10, huh? Where they are 3 stacked. Must be nice. So now we shuffle up. And now, since we rided Griffogilla through Griffo's Kid's effect, we get 2 DRAGONTREE markers. And now our Griffogilla is plus 10k on every swing, but we don't have the DRAGONTREE generator, the grade 1. So we can't build a pressure right now, since we can't get any crit, and we only have 1 open CB, so we can't like put the Aggra Rouge into double Chevalstud. So what we are gonna do is just either swing into a rearguard or just for vanguard, since if they guarded everything, since what players usually do, especially when they know this guy is coming, so with double crit I'm just gonna take damage. You can just attack, Draws would be nice right now and not the crit, since you want to damage deny them so you can survive longer. Because when you attack with Grifogila, one order goes away. And then you have 2 left until your beautiful OT comes out. So that's how I like to play, just attack, crit into crit. You can also take that. So he is now on 3 damage, which puts you at a nice point. And then he's gonna swing at you with some more resources, since they have 3 open CB. So let's say we take 2, it's a draw trigger, power and I draw. Second check, it's a heal, they are on 3, we don't heal. And after that you probably want to guard. Remember, this is a 20k shield, this is not live right now. So let's say we guard it like this. Let's say it was a pretty good turn from the opponent and we guard with 3 cards. Then it's our turn, we draw, we have Persona right, then draw again, we have 3 Chevalstud now and a lot of CB. So we are gonna utilize that right now and hopefully draw into a DRAGONTREE generator, the grade 1. So we can build up pressure with the crit on Vanguard. So we don't call this one first, we first call down a Chevalstud behind the Vanguard, because the Vanguard doesn't need any additional boosting. And then we play the Prison Order, rest this, Soul Charge 3, it's a crit, there's the card we needed. And after that you can just Soul Blast 1 to imprison something, use 1 Chevalstud to imprison anything else and Soul Blast. So now they have 2 rearguards already in the prison right here. And then you can call down double Chevalstud. And if they have 2 more rearguards, you can use both. If not, then not. But usually imprisoning 4 cards is it's possible if you don't play against Welstra, because Welstra clears its own board while clearing also your board. So Welstra is like the worst matchup for this deck. That's the reason why. And let's say they have 2 more rearguards. So we Soul Blast 2, and then we can draw 2, a draw trigger and another draw trigger, yeah. But now they have 4 cards in prison. Right now I would put up the Chevalstud, because it's with the DRAGONTREE marker 23 with the Persona Red. And now just swing, let's see what will happen. We check prison into heal. Since he's at 3 damage, we do heal now. And also we remove the grade 2 stuff. And now we attack for the rest. I don't know what he will do from now on. So we are just pretending from now, like hypothetically. And this is also a 20k shield, so 70 plus a PG. And sadly no PGs in hand, cause the prison orders are usually your discard fodder. But maybe we can take one for next turn, cause we are gonna have only 2 soul when we Persona Ride. And that's a little bit low if we have 3 Chevalstuds, but on the other hand we don't have any CB. But now we want to make him, the opponent, push us to heal range. That's why what I always keep in my mind when playing this deck. I want to push me exactly at heal range, and after that block. Sometimes it's also smart if they are on 4 damage to let you push to 5. So that's what usually should be this game state right now, since your columns aren't that great. And let's say we now take 3 damage. That's 1 defensive and a PG, and after that we block with like everything. Let's say this we don't need, and we are using PG, Soul Blast 1, and then guard with this card, these cards, and restand everything. Draw, right, Persona Right again, another prison, still no PG. That's really bad right now. But as it seems, we need to put another prison down there, which is not great if you're going for deck out. But in this case, we have to. And putting 2, all the good imprisoning stuff, sadly. But now we can imprison another card, and then using Chevalstud optimally 3 times. So it means now 2 prison, and now we can draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And there's a PG. That's really nice. And we still don't have a generator for DRAGONTREE, which actually never happened in all my games, but stuff can happen, of course. And now we can attack again for 33, drive check, nothing, but we have 2 PGs for next turn and kinda shield and maybe 2 Aggra Rouges on the field if he doesn't get rid of them or the prison. And that's actually the deck. And from now on, either you win or not, because your last order is gone, and on your next turn, you can use your OT with Grofogila's skill, since you don't have any calamities anymore in your right deck. You can just banish it when you're attacking it and resend every rearguard with a Dragontree marker on it. So in this case, these 2, or probably for next turn, these 2 if we double intercept with the Aggra Rouges, which is also totally fine. So you would technically attack first with the rearguards on the Dragontree markers, then with the Vanguard, and then restand all the rearguards on the Dragontree markers. And did we get a 6 damage heal? No, so we probably would have lost because the heal is on the bottom, and that's how you play this deck. You just hope for heal triggers and OT them. So that's it for my Dragontree deck. I hope you enjoyed it. For me personally, this deck was really fun to build because it was something totally different, but this deck reminded me of a promise Vanguard actually made but never really did. Was it with the nations, because they wanted like the original idea was like to put up nations so that you can swap in like to make more good generic cards which help you building the deck. But as I built this deck in BRANDT got like the if it got a generic, then it's like really good. But otherwise than that, so general good stuff, there isn't much in there. Like the Bubble Mine, Freiheit, and that's actually it with the best generic stuff. And also the biggest weakness of Dragontree BRANDT is that you have to play orders, but you cannot play orders because your Vanguard is grade 0. So you can't get into Dark Knight, Abyssal Knight and all that kind of stuff. You can literally do nothing until you're grade 10. And with all the BRANDT support cards that are available, all of them need like 1 or 2, most likely 2 orders in your set order. 2 set orders in your order zone. But you cannot play any orders, so your first persona ride is then like your strongest turn, but till then it's too late. You need to push out. Best case on the first grade 10 turn, you have to have the option, because when he pushes you, you have to push back. If you cannot push back, you die. That's my biggest problem with this deck, but otherwise than that, this deck was really fun to build and really fun to playtest. I'm really excited for Italy. Just try it out if you have like any prison at home and you don't want to play it anymore. This is a build I can deliver you, which is actually fun and really not bad against the non-meta decks. So it's really fun. I really enjoyed playing this deck. I'm gonna keep improving it with set 11 with the Blitz order, which generates Dragontree markers, which is a really nice card for this deck because I can put out the grade 1 Dragontree generator. And if you want, you can watch some other videos from us. I have some gameplay on my channel of this deck, but if you're in a different build, maybe there will be a gameplay with the updated build. So stay tuned, don't forget to sub and like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.